All right. We're back with Group B, and it is our second match of the group. The opening match for these two players between Team Liquid's Clem, the young Frenchman, who, unlike last year's PiGFest, has opted to wake up early and actually get some sleep rather than stay up all night to play. It is right now 10:30 a.m. in France, so it's not that early, but it is for him and his crazy schedule. Over here on the right side, we've got Alpha X Zoun, Protoss player, who actually is looking a lot sleepier than Clem. He's been yawning a little bit in the pregame. I am hoping his form is good because it's 2 hours earlier over in Korea. 6:30 p.m. right now. It's 8:30 for me, so it shouldn't be too rough a time. On the other hand, some of the Korean players, StarCraft players in general, often have like a boxers schedule, where you guys know like boxers, they're people watch boxing at night, so they stay up and and tennis players as well sometimes, so they'll adjust their sleep schedule so that it's not like you don't want to be competing like an hour before you'd normally go to sleep or anything like that, right? So a lot of the time the players will get up at like 2 in the afternoon, start seriously practicing like 5, 6 p.m., go, and then start winding down from like, to sleep at like 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, something like that. So it is really funky, the different schedules you have, where you've got several, obviously greatest player of all time, many would argue, really like normie, healthy schedule where he gets up quite early in the morning, doesn't like staying up too late, doesn't like messing with his sleep schedule. And then you've got the guys like Clem that stay up to all hours to play the weekly North American Cups and all sorts of stuff every single week, and doesn't mind playing all these online cups. He's also very young as well, so Clem can adapt to all that. Now, that command center got blocked for a moment, but you'll notice because Clem pulled the SCV so early, he actually did still get it down right on 400 minerals. It is a Reaper expand build. SCV comes in for Clem, sees the Nexus, sees the pylon. Second gas is on the way. And of course, the Reaper wall going down there. Now this probe doesn't want to run straight home because the Reaper might catch it. So probe is going to go hide. And it looks like he's already clicked it to the watchtower. So not a bad choice by any means. Factory will go down here at 2 minutes 12. This is a very traditional opening for Clem. I've identified as Clem's big weakness, and I'm making air quotation marks, you guys can't see that, is that he's a little bit less aggressive than some of the Koreans, less prone to proxying or doing crazy all-in attacks. Because of that, he has a lot more practice in the macro game though, and he's very, very good with his micro. A lot of the Europeans have said they don't have faith in killing him with all-in attacks anymore because he's just so good at microing his way out of what should on paper be a bad situation. And we'll see if Zoun respects that at all, or if he comes out with some of that timing attack, just confidence that has gotten Zoun a very fierce reputation in this matchup. I know that Zoun was having a little bit of a rough time earlier this year, but I feel like he's on the upswing right now, so I'm very excited to see what builds he'll be packing. Stargate opening very nice here, and the Reaper unable to spot that. So Clem really doesn't know what build order this is. He's going to be going for a Hellion there as well. Usually the Hellion and the Reaper combined could dive in and try and scout what's up. And it's going to be straight Phoenix play. Now, Phoenix is really awesome if the Terran overcommits to, say, a Widow Mine drop. We see a Widow Mine in production, or a Hellion drop. Because if you hide these Phoenix in your base, he flies in with a medevac. It's a one-way trip. They can't get home. The Phoenix is so fast. They can disable the Widow Mines and the Hellions and gun them down. But if he he's going to bounce his Reaper in. And he does see a Stargate building Phoenix. A very good scout. He should definitely run his Hellion home. Maybe try and catch a probe moving out to take a third base. But other than that, check it out. He stopped building Widow Mines, no medevac anymore. He's like, no. Viking, get a tech lab so I can make a Cyclone. Start making extra barracks. Clem realizes in this scenario, the last thing you want to do is feed free units into their Phoenix defense. The problem with the Phoenix is in the long run, they're not going to scale too well in frontal fights. And because Zoun's been scouted now, he's like, okay, take a third, get out there with the Phoenix, try to get some vision. And he's going to try and see exactly what's going on. Second and third barracks on the way for Clem. And he's building a tech lab on the starport. We'll see if Clem opts for the Raven that's so popular these days. Colossus is the natural follow-up for Zoun here, and indeed we know that he's going for the 4 gases. Clem doesn't know that. For his information, here might be a Twilight and a Forge going charge +1, and it could be Mass Zealot Phoenix, Mass Zealot Phoenix Archon, which is a much more aggressive short-term composition. What we can see is that it's going to be much more turtley. He's going to go Robo Bay as soon as the Robo's finished, start making Colossus, and turtle up at least for a little while in this matchup. These Phoenix, look at this fan. Fanning the Phoenix out. He's trying to see if there's any incoming attack. Both players have been a bit short on information. They've both been set up to defend very well, but they're like, hey, what are you doing? And finally the Phoenix coming in. These units could get overwhelmed by 4 Phoenix, but... oh, there's a Widow Mine under there. Oh, I didn't even see that. I'm bloody observing. I can see everything. Nice pullback by Zoun. Was not tricked by that at all. Robobay is on the way. We're going to see that natural Terran versus Protoss setup. Stim, shields, +1. Medivacs coming in. He's going to go Widow Mines. We know that from the reactor. Not very good versus Colossus, but if you drop them in the base, they can still always do well. The problem is, of course, the Terran doesn't have a third. He's basically giving that up to have a much bigger army in the mid-game. He's going to put on a lot of aggression with it. And Zoun is going to say, well, I have my third up in mining. If I can defend that without taking big damage, I will be in a good spot in the long run. First Immortal is out. Doesn't have the money for a Colossus, and he queues up another Phoenix. Now, that is a weird choice. I was going to say stopping at just 4 Phoenixes or 5 Phoenixes, maybe a little low for a Phoenix Colossus style, but prioritizing Phoenix over the Colossus is fascinating. Observer comes out. It does see this army moving forward for Clem. Clem trying to just set up forward and deny any information, and an SCV will move out and take this third base. Gentleman's agreement so far in this game. Both players trying to feel each other out and just get some idea of what the hell's going on. Seeing the late Twilight Council tells Clem exactly what he's up against. He knows it's going to be a Colossus style. And with the first Colossus out in a moment, battery overcharge available as well. 2 batteries even in that base. I mean, you can posture. You can't really get much damage done here as Clem. Especially with that Observer seeing the army on its way across the map. Widow Mines are coming in 2 at a time, as well as Medivacs. Third command center's almost halfway done. Clem is continuing SCV production pretty smoothly. He's going to start sieging up outside the base, but remember, he's at a range disadvantage in this scenario. Oh, the probes try to set off the Widow Mine. They're not able to. One Widow Mine does get sniped by the army, but a few probes have already gone down. It's been good trades for Clem. He's trying to bait the Protoss into a bad fight. And remember, at any moment, once he gets to 4 or 6 medevacs, he can pick up boosts into the main base. This is one of the scariest things about this map. It's part of why Zoun's opened up with Phoenix, is he's always got to be wary of the Terran threatening the front, dragging your army down there, and then repositioning into your main base. +1 armor's on the way. Not dealing with the Observer is a big problem. Zoun, if he didn't have vision, he'd be much more worried right now about where's the army. Is it splitting up? What's going on? The fact that Clem hasn't seen that is really quite bad for him. Let's go to Clem's vision for a moment, guys. That Observer's right over his army, but he's just not noticing it. He's going to try and chase this probe down. The fact that probe is on the watchtower the whole time should already give him an idea that his opponent has more information than he should really want. He's starting to just macro up that third. I mean, he's not missing a beat with his macro, so I don't think Clem's necessarily behind. But definitely not making Zoun nearly as scared as a Terran player would like at this stage. Fleet Beacon goes down. What? Oh, Zoun. Zoun is playing Turtle Protoss, man. That Nexus is going to get taken out. Oh, is it? Is it, though? Clem absolutely wants that so badly, but he's not quite confident attacking into this choke point. It's not a very tight choke, but it's still a bit too clumped up for Mass Marine Marauder. That's a really good D. If Zoun can keep this base alive, I don't know if he goes Carriers or Tempests. I feel like you have to go Carriers here, just because, I mean, Tempest can obviously chip away from afar, but they're not really going to have enough damage or impact. It's just fascinating because he's gone 8 gateways. Normally, if someone plays Colossus into Carriers, they'd keep building Disruptors during this phase. But Zoun's doing a really fascinating hybrid style where he's like, oh, I'm going Zealot Archon, also I'm going Air at the same time. Clem is going to start split pushing. I don't know if Clem's going to be ready for this style, man. He's got a nice hit squad on the north. Battery does come up. Nexus has already lost some shields from earlier. Good pullback by Clem, though. He might want to drop around that north side. Phoenix is still here, stopping him from rotating into the main. We've got an interesting setup where it feels like Zoun's gotten through the scariest part of the game. He's up 10 probes. He's got his +1 attack. He's making his first carrier. Expect a second one to start up as soon as he's got money. There we goes. And second starport and a 4th command center beginning now for Clem, but man, this is going to be so weird. Like, EMP and well-upgraded bio can absolutely hammer. The problem is always that you need to be very careful with your micro once interceptors are in the mix, because interceptors are incredibly tanky units. And if you just A-move, things like Vikings, Widow Mines are going to waste their shots on what are essentially free units in the long run. Here we go. Army's moving forward on this side one more time. And still very scary to push into the Colossus. Nice battery overcharge as well. Good force field! Oh, Zoun snatching a bunch of those Marines. One Phoenix goes down to the Widow Mine. Army in the north comes forward, but cannon, battery, Colossus. Zoun is like, dude, I am the king of static defense. You cannot get this. Clem, how badly he wants this, but he will not be able to seal the deal on it. Third Stargate's on the way. I like that there's a second Robo and Disruptor production coming in as well. Zoun is playing the least Korean style of StarCraft I've ever seen. And he's done this sort of stuff in the past. I just didn't expect it in game one. Where it's like, normally you'd expect this of like, this is like, I don't know, Showtime on super patient steroids is what I describe Zoun's style as, you know? This is this is not what you expect from a Korean Protoss player who originally got great at PvT through timing attacks, but maybe I'm just not up to date on Zoun's style. Maybe this is his style he does every game. Either way, Clem does have full map control. He's got a third starport on the way, ship weapons. When 2-2 upgrades finish, if he can land EMPs all over the army, everything can still fall apart very quickly. I feel like on either side, it could go very badly. The reason why I'm favoring Zoun is the number of cannons and batteries and their placement feels like it gives him a massive amount of insurance. Ball gets a single Marine, but he got rid of one of the observers. Remember, there's a triple drop on the right side. This is a distraction. Clem wants to distract him over here. Gets 2 cannons, pulls back. Carriers are being spotted. The Vikings there, thinking about posturing. Oh, he's going to fight! Zoun dives. Clem is running home while Doom dropping the main, triple dropping the main base. And look at this, he's turning around his Clem. Clem's saying, hey, you can't group up to recall. I'm still here fighting you. He recalls on top of the bio. 2 of the Colossus instantly drop. Massive victory for Clem. Clem tries to chase on the front, and he dodges the Disruptor like a monster. Clem, what in the hell is that? How did you just do that, mate? He's going to do it again. No, one Marauder does go down that time. Meanwhile, the triple drop in the main. The main base, always the weak point. It's always the one little chink in the armor for the Protoss player on this map. I feel like Zoun was doing such a good job defending, but the moment that triple drop got in the main and he didn't recall enough of his army because of the way Clem was kiting and veering in and out on that left side, that really is something only a player as fast as Clem can do. 500 APM, 400 on average for Clem. His ability to just pretend and threaten the fight and chip away at the edges without overcommitting, second to none. The Nexus does survive here if he doesn't target it. Oh, the Nexus! The last shot, he didn't focus it! Oh, he didn't focus it, but he runs in on the left side. Does it even matter? The Nexus barely survives in the main, but Zoun lost a lot of units and infrastructure there. But wait, battery overcharges, a very good ability. You don't really want to headbutt into that. EMP obviously would help here. Does use the EMPs. The Archons disappear. There's still Disruptors in the back. The Vikings come forward. They're going to get a carrier. There's not much support for these carriers. I think the Vikings could take them out. Interceptor's doing pretty well against the damaged Vikings and Medivacs, but the carriers are starting to fall. And you can tell Clem's happy to take this trade. The spready! Dude, Clem's spreadies are just unfair. I always feel like, oh, he's pulled back too late. And he just looks calm. He looks so calm on camera. He doesn't even seem to care. He's super chilled, not phased at all, and he spreads so well. Beautiful play by Clem. Right, well, that game did crumble, but that is what happens, right? Right before you get up into those well-upgraded carriers, you know, you're very fragile. And it looked like he was past the scariest point. And I do still think he was, but man, the drop in the main, just the kiting of that Terran army. It's a very fragile Terran army, but this man micros it like none other. Team Liquid's Clem in the bottom right. And this is actually Central US. For those who don't know, the Clem was a higher seed, so he picked tails on our coin. We flipped the coin. Oh, he picked heads, sorry, and it came up tails. So he actually lost the coin flip, and that's why we played US West game 1. Now we're on Central, which is a better map for Clem. And we'll both go back to US West for game 3. So Zoun will have server preference on 2 of these games. Both players playing with a little bit of latency, but I mean, it really just tells you how good Clem is and how used he is to playing with a bit of latency, that he's able to do those last second spreads the way he does. Is Zoun currently on a team, by the way, Dot? If we could look that one up. Oh, he is on Alpha X, right. Oh, it's even on the tag. It just doesn't show up on the overlay down the bottom because Clem, look at that, clever boy, has it in the name, so it shows up down the bottom, whereas the clan tag doesn't show up on this overlay. Shout out to Alpha X, still supporting Zoun. That's good. He's been with them for a couple of years now. I love it when a team supports a player through thick and thin, when they're at the top of their game and when they're going through a bit of a downswing. He's, of course, had the natural ebb and flow of getting to semi-finals and getting up against the top dogs and taking series off Maru and that sort of thing, as well as the struggles of going out early in some seasons here or there. But they've been supporting him, helping him grow as a player, getting him lots of coaching and investing in analyzing replays and helping him plan his series. So one of the most involved teams out there. But Clem, of course, for the historic StarCraft great team, Team Liquid, also knows a bit about all that. He's got coaches helping him out as well. Does get a probe, which is very good. And he's got enough hit points to survive one adept hit. So if you're down to 22 hit points, then the adept can one-shot you. But Reaper does get out for now. Probe Scouts sees the command center on the high ground. Ooh, I've criticized Clem a lot for this over the years, guys, and I'm going to do it again. He's very lazy with his building placement. He always builds his command center and his factory close enough that a probe or an adept can walk up and just see. If that command center wasn't in vision, Zoun would be completely in the dark right now. He'd be like, okay, you got a reactor on the barracks. I have no idea what you're building. Marines, tanks, is it a one-base armory, Widow Mine drop? Like, what's going on? But instead, Clem gives that information away. He's so solid. He's one of these players where he usually doesn't care too much about being scouted. But in this scenario, I gotta say it's a little iffy. Now, he's gone double Reaper production. So 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. Man, this is a pretty fierce pressure. What do we got to deal with it? 2 Adepts. The Oracle is actually a bit too late. If you want to deal... Oh, because he went core before Nexus. No shield battery, no second Adept. Oh my god, the second Adept is shading down from the main. The third Adept is nowhere near. This is a really good attack from Clem against this build. If you don't chrono boost your Adepts twice, you won't have 3 Adepts in time. And he had one in the main. The Oracle will save the day, but not before all the Adepts go down. And how many probes will fall as well? 1, 2, 3 probes go down. Oh, good focusing with the Oracle, but 4 probes and 2 Adepts. You can see the battle report there. All the units lost establishes it. Do we have battle report with this overlay? No, we don't. This is the slightly older version. 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. Yeah, that's super worth it. You get a full scout. The Oracle uses its energy. Zoun's going to build a second Oracle and double down. If he doesn't find any Oracle damage, he won't be happy. But, hey, first one would have been effective if he had any energy available. He's actually building a pylon. Oh, Zoun, really? Okay, I think Zoun was just planning this before the game started. He's going to do an Adept Oracle attack with like 3 Oracles and like 6 Adepts. This is a really cool timing if you have a good start. But if you've already lost your first 2 Adepts, or in this case was it even, yeah, 2 Adepts went down, man, I don't know if that's going to work. He's going to take a 3rd base in the back, which makes me think maybe he's not committing as much. He's just going to try and pick off some Marines. Stim, shields, siege tanks, 3 racks on the way. I mean, Clem is planning a huge 2-base timing. He's already moving out. Oh, he's not even, yeah, no medevac production. He is just like, giant 2-base push. Have fun dealing with this. And building Mass Oracle is terrible against this. The gateway unit count is quite good. They could try to backstab maybe, but man, this is not the right matchup of builds for Zoun today. Not ready for the 3 Reaper 2 Hellion. I think he just thought Clem wouldn't go for something so aggressive at the start. Played a little bit risky, and now Clem is in a very nice position. Great movement on the Adept, though. Doesn't really take any damage from that kiting. These units could move in and depower the battery and potentially straight up win the game. The tank is very far forward. Here we go. Oracles! 1 Oracle falls, 2 Oracles fall, but the Cyclone, a lot of the Marines are already gone. There's not that many Marines left, but there is a rally, and that was a good fight timing because Stim and Shields wasn't ready yet. But I don't know if it's enough with the siege tank still up, and now these units, they're trying to get forward, but the battery's a bit too far back. Probably should just use it to heal the gateway, in my opinion. He is getting a few hits on the Marine Marauder. Already got 2 Stalkers and an Adept. He's on 2-gate production, and he's building Oracle. Zoun just does not have the tools he needs to defend this. This is a vicious push timing from Clem. It's one of the hardest to stop, and triple Oracle production is just not the answer to it. Not at all. Zoun gets taken out there. Clem with an aggressive switch up on the Protoss map. Nice and easy, 2-0.